If they want to join, for example, I saw someone have the facilitator have a like unicorn. If someone want to join the specific groups, they can name their group's name. They can name them in front of them.
Okay, I got you.
So after we can offline, if they want to join, for example, if I saw someone have
so what we'll do is once we get into the breakout rooms, we're about to go into them shortly here.
Someone want to join
each person
the specific
pick out
groups,
a recorder to help keep track of what is being said, and also a spokesperson.
Facilitator have a
OK， 然后我们现在就是到各个小群里面参加讨论，并且呢，最好是让每一个群里面都有一个记录的人员，然后选出一个人来，我们开始在这里面进行大家在一起探讨。
And then we'll also read the Constitution article that you'll be discussing silently for the first couple minutes. Go ahead.
OK， 然后我们现在的话去看一下宪法的条例，然后开始进行讨论。再过一会儿再回到这个地方。
And then you want to break it down. So, what are the core beliefs and design principles? What should be done differently? What do you like or not like about the article?
OK， 所以根据那些从从那个文章10到第20，你比如说你觉得最重要的是什么，然后你喜欢的是什么，或者是有什么可以被改进的，或者是被去除的，大家都可以提出来。
After 30 minutes of discussion, we will all come back together in this big group and discuss our summaries. The spokesperson from each group will share the summary from the group.
OK， 30分钟之后，我们再回到整个总的讨论群。所以现在呢，我们是每个人被划分到一个群里面去讨论。
And the last thing on this slide, if you keep an eye on the upper part of your screen, there will be sort of a countdown. Every 10 minutes or so, you'll see a new warning of your time left. How much time you have left.
然后在看的时候，每10分钟你会看到一个倒计时，看到一个时间的提醒。
All right, so we're going to start the breakout rooms. I'm going to read the names here. Breakout room number 1. Oh, go ahead.
OK， 所以我们现在去分组，然后大家注意听一下自己的名字。
So breakout room number 1, it looks like we have Adam Zintarski, Martin Brewer, Myra, Catherine Fang, and we'll also put Brian from EOS Amsterdam.
Okay. Kevin, from our screen, this is a black bar. We cannot see. Yes.
Let me see if I can share this. It didn't let me do it share it last time, but how about now? Can you see this okay?
No, still a black bar.
This box in the middle? Okay.
It's okay. Just divide the room, okay?
Yeah, what I'll do is I'll read out the names of the rooms. I'll read out the folks who are in each room. And Catherine, if you can translate that for me, please.
OK， 所以我们现在的话是大家注意听一下自己的名字，我们开始再分到各个那个房间里面去讨论了。
Okay. So room number 1, we're going to move someone here. Let's put you. All right. So room number 1 is Adam Zintarski, Martin Brewer, Brian from EOS Amsterdam, Myra, and Catherine. And okay. You guys are discussing Article 10 or X.
Article 10, OK. 所以是，但是他们的名do I need to tell them the name too? Because it sounds like English name. They're not Chinese, right?
Yeah, that's mostly an English-speaking group. It looks like.
OK. 所以这个组我们刚刚分的是个英文的组，应该不用翻译的。OK, continue.
Room number 2, we'll be discussing Article 11, and that is Luna, Ruby, Dimitri, and Stephen Zhang.
It's an English group too, right?
That's going to be a Chinese group number 2.
OK， 然后第二组的话是中文的群，是中文讨论的群。But I don't remember their names.
I'll say
I can't see their names either.
That's okay. I'll say the names. You just say which article they'll be. You guys.
Okay, that will be better. Okay, 所以第二个小组是中文讨论群，是讨论第11篇文章，第11篇。
And I'll say the names again, but room number 2 discussing Article 11.
Okay.
And it's going to be Luna, Ruby, Dimitri, and Stephen Zhang. All right. Room number 3 will discuss Article 12. I'll let you translate that, Catherine.
OK， 第3组讨论的是第12个文章，第12篇。
That is Anita with the Raiders. We have D.1 at Geo's song. We have Evie, Lo Chang, and Doris Zhu. And then room number 4. So we're going to move Daquan, I think, is also in the Raiders. So we're going to put him into room number 3 as well. Daquan, you'll be in room number 3, okay?
Okay.
All right. Room number 4, we'll discuss, let's see here. Room number 4, we'll discuss Article 13.
Okay,
and
13.
Translate.
房间4的话，讨论宪法的第13条。
And room number 4 is going to have Anna Yoon and Achilles, Mike, Da Hong from EOS New York. And that's room number 4. And then room number 5 is going to discuss Article 14.
房间5的话，讨论宪法第14条。
And that room will have Victor, Yvonne, and David, it looks like. And also Shen Wang will go into breakout room number 5. I see Yibin has raised his hand. Yibin, you may have to unmute yourself.
Yes.
Go ahead. Are you? So we'll go on to breakout room number 5. Yibin, if you can go ahead and speak up if you are able to. We can't hear anything right now. All right, so room number 5, we're going to have Shen Wang. I think we need to put Shane. Shane, are you English only with EOS Pacific?
No, I can speak. I can speak Chinese as well. So.
Okay, all right, that sounds good. Shane, we'll put you in breakout room 5. You guys are doing Article 14. You have Yvonne with EOS Shenzhen and David as well with Team Fox. And let's see if I'm just making sure I didn't miss any teams here. So we have Myra with Team Fox. I'll have to keep you guys. Okay. We'll put. All right. So we're going to open up the rooms, guys. You'll see a little pop-up box, and then you can click the box to go into your room.
OK， 所以我们现在的话就要把房间打开了，然后我们现在就来讨论。
And I will come around. You guys can start doing your discussions and reading the Constitution. I will go around and just make sure everybody has the links they need. Okay.
然后我们现在开始讨论。那个 Kevin 的话会在各个房间里面会看一下。我们现在可以开始了。
大家看到那个离开小群的窗口了吗？从我的窗口好像看不到可以离开的地方。
我也还在找。
Yeah, I don't see it either.
Okay, Kevin, we didn't show the breakout today. The screen is full of black bar. I cannot find the button to go to the breakout room.
That's okay. It's coming. You ready? Should see.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Hey. Hey guys.
Hi. Hi. 你好。
Okay. I think everybody's here, right? Adam, Myra, Catherine, and Brian. Hey, Brian.
Yeah. Hello.
Cool.
I have spoken before.
Are you guys okay with me being facilitator? I don't see no other F except Myra.
Can you be the facilitator for me? I will rename myself.
No, I'm happy to facilitate for you.
I already start to record, okay? Okay.
Okay. I think Adam is also recording, so yeah.
Adam,
Anyway,
are you recording?
he's streaming.
I can record.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so I record.
Hey, Kevin.
Hey, Kevin.
How are you all?
We're good. We're good. Okay. There's also Paco. It seems there are still some people coming in, but I will start sharing my screen in a bit. It would be good to already agree, or somebody starts taking notes. Who is comfortable with taking notes?
Adam, really good at taking notes.
Okay, Adam.
Yeah, I'll
Okay,
do it.
Okay, would be good if you later then can share them in the chat for whoever is the spokesperson. We'll have something to read from. I can't take notes because I'm sharing my screen. Okay.
Okay.
I will start sharing the screen right now.
Not yet.
No, it should be there.
No?
Okay.
Okay, now, yes.
Okay. So we're doing article number 10.
Yes.
Okay, it's a pretty short one, a pretty clear one. I'm not 100% sure if we got much discussion there, but I'll leave it open to the group. Somebody wants to read the article?
I will send the Chinese version inside also. Okay.
Oh, okay, that's good.
Chat.
One question, since we're a little bit time sensitive, I don't know if we should do a short round of introductions. You guys? Huh?
How about you?
Oh, I can introduce myself.
Please.
Okay.
Actually, it's important. That's really like 30 seconds.
Okay, really short. I'm Martin. I'm working as a regional manager for EOS Nation. I live since 10 years in Chengdu. I'm bilingual, and I'm really happy to join the call and help you guys. Myra?
Hi, Myra. Continue the lines. I know everyone. Thank you.
Okay, Adam?
I'm Adam from EOS Detroit, one of the co-founders. I'm really excited because this is my first Chinese-English Constitution call. So,
Good. Brian?
hi, I'm Brian. I'm from EOS Amsterdam. I joined the team about 2 months ago, and I was here at the first meeting till the fourth one. So I'm happy to share to listen to some ideas.
All right, great. Next one will be Kevin.
I'm just.
Hey everybody.
Okay, good.
Oh, I didn't know there were two Kevins in here. Hey, Kevin Rose, EOS New York co-founder. Very excited to be a participant. Thank you for having me.
Cool. All right, Catherine.
Okay, hi everyone. I'm Catherine. I'm from USBC, and this is my first time to participate in the Zoom like this. And I think I have met a lot of you in Korea, but I'm very happy to be here today.
Great.
Thank you.
Okay, next one would be Paco. Please.
Yeah, I was muted. Hi, my name is Paco from EOS Mediterranean, which is a node that is half Chinese, half European. And I'm really happy to be here also.
Awesome. So I see Jam in the call. Who here does?
Yeah. I'm John, just here trying to learn something about EOS.
Awesome. All right. Last but not least, Darren. I think that we got everyone.
Hello, I'm Darren from EOS Shenzhen. Yeah, and I'm also equally interested in learning something from this.
Okay, cool. All right. So let's get into the article number 10. Choice of law for disputes shall be in order of precedence, disconstitutions, and the maxim of equity. Everybody got that?
Yes.
Okay. Who here knows the maxims of equity?
I do.
Well, can you see the Wikipedia article?
Yep.
Okay.
I think it'd be great if Jem can explain, because he knows the pretty much better than anyone why that was put in there.
That would be great.
No, frankly, this was something that Dan stuck into the Constitution at the last minute. There wasn't ever any real discussion publicly about it at all. But at some point, somebody had inserted the laws of Malta. We looked at that, and it really didn't make sense. So this just followed Dan's philosophy quite well, and so he stuck it in there. I don't think anybody's really married to it very closely. So it's really a set of principles, not a set of laws or rules. So my sense is that it could be modified pretty easily without any strong objection. I don't see any big community supporting this, but I don't have any problem with the philosophy behind it myself.
Before we get into the actual meat of maximum of equity or laws of Malta or any of the plentiful options that we have, I would love to get opinions from the group and to understand the purpose of the article, because I see it seems very nuanced. There's details here because we have the if you could pull it back up, yeah. So choice of law for disputes shall be this Constitution, and then we also have the protocol of any disputes being the rules for dispute resolution. So that's like Robert's Rules of Order, or that's not a good example, but it's
Kevin. Yeah. The reason why I put the maxims right now is because everybody should kind of understand the article, and I wanted to make sure that we're all on the same level. A bit later, we will all share our opinions about what we think about the article and how we understand it and how we would improve it. So that would be your turn. If you want to start right now, that's fine.
Sure. I just want to understand in order of precedence.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to think of what that language means, and does it mean that in the case that there is no precedent, or if there is nothing covered by this Constitution, you shall refer to maxims of equity? Is that anyone else's understanding?
That's how I understand it, yeah.
Right. So whatever issue is not covered by the other things that finally use these maxims as the guideline for how to resolve the dispute.
Okay, so that clarified a little bit how we understand the wording in the article. Should we move right now into each one takes turn and what they think about it and how necessary they think it is? And there's, as you mentioned, Kevin, like the dispute resolutions protocol that we're talking about, right? So this could be an alternative.
I'm not sure it's an alternative.
Okay.
I think they're two distinct things. So the Constitution is serving as the rules, the actual the law, the and then beyond that as the maxims of equity. But for the rules for dispute resolution in the RDR, that's not exactly the law, but that's how we follow. That's how we enforce the law.
Okay.
That's how I see the difference there. Does anyone else think that or think differently?
No.
Okay. I believe Adam is writing down the thing of we're discussing and we'll write down about this. We'll go through everyone and gathering, and we'll have Korean thing call, and everyone can put opinions on it.
Yeah.
Provide his opinions.
Yeah, I agree. We should go take a round right now. Myra, you want to start maybe?
No. I would like the other people to start with.
Okay. I I'm kind of going through my screen, and next one would be gem then. So it's totally random.
Yeah, I think what Kevin said is largely right. You know, we've got the rules, which are the Constitution, and then the RDR, the rules for dispute resolution, are effectively, this is how you approach solving a conflict, and that if none of that works, then follow the philosophy of the maxims. That's where this all kicks in, and yeah, the RDR, I think we can debate endlessly over the details of it, but the maxims are just principles, and they seem like good principles to me. So, like I said, I don't have any problem with that. It's just sort of the fallback conceptual philosophy.
Okay. Anything else? I guess no. Let me shortly summarize then. Basically, like this article, you don't have a problem with it. The maxims of equity itself, you think it's just like principles that you can agree with. You mentioned earlier that this was put in a little bit last minute, and it's basically, if we could come up as a community with something else, with other principles, that would be also possible. Yeah.
Yeah, I think there was a consideration of many things that could be there, and it's just, you know, what's your fallback if everything you have doesn't cover a particular situation? What do you do?
Yeah.
That's the dilemma, and so I think the solution here was to pick this, and like I said, but it never really was discussed publicly at all that I'm aware of.
Okay, cool. Next one would be Paco.
Hi.
Hey, Paco.
What I think of this, I think that really when I haven't spoke, but for what I've heard in many conversations, one of the things that Dan and Thomas, which are the ones who basically started this document, although they pulled it out and we finished it up, what they wanted to do is to provide us with a set of rules that we could guide ourselves with, and that's where the Constitution comes from. You know, it's just a basic set of rules that we can start with. Of course, they have in mind that we had to ratify it and obviously change it in the future. And I think that the main thing behind it is to provide us with tools so we don't end up ever in court. And when we're talking about in court, we're talking about a real life court, you know, especially being a global platform where so many different laws and people from different countries could end up in situations where basically we could stop them on chain. And
Okay.
that's I think that's the aim of the Constitution and many of the articles.
Okay, so you wouldn't have you wouldn't have a problem with the article. You see it more like a guideline and suggestions for when.
I don't have a problem at all with the Constitution itself. Just that it needs to be better written and specified, because it has a lot of too many little holes where people can grab onto, you know, and that's the only thing. What attracted me and everybody in EOS Mediterranean about EOS was precisely that it had governance and a constitution. That's why we moved into EOS.
Okay, and for you, similar to GEM, like the maximum of equity would be also like a fallback possibility that you don't have a problem with.
At all.
Okay, cool. Next one, Darren. Hey, Darren.
Hello. Yeah. I don't really have a problem with this as well, because it's pretty straightforward, I guess. And anything that is not covered by the Constitution, I think conversely, anything that's not really covered by the Constitution can be covered through, even if not covered by the maxims of equity, can be covered through like cases that maybe ECAF or whatever sees throughout the period of time, and then you can place a case somewhere in the middle of two opposing cases, and then you can more or less let a set of people we have faith in to decide on things. So it's pretty fine on that matter. Yeah.
Okay. So you basically agree with the previous two speakers, and you would say any kind of problems that we would have when it comes to like deciding on a case, you're fine with the maxims of equity. Like I'm asking you specifically because like it is a Western document in a way, and it's maybe not really accessible for Asian people.
Oh, well, I mean, our laws of equity are pretty similar. So, I mean, it's followed upon the maxims of equity as well. So I guess this depends more on like how one would interpret the doctrines of equity rather. So it's more of an interpretation of,
Okay, cool. I just
Darren is Singaporean, so he's pseudo-Western anyway.
Okay. I just wanted this point to be made somehow. All right. Myra?
Hi.
You ready now?
I'm agree with the point of before because this is really short. Actually, I have no opinions to put on.
All right. So that's good. Then we can move to Kevin. Okay. Yeah.
I put a link into the groups. Actually, if you want to add more talking points, actually we should follow the Google document to talk about what's the core belief. What do you think about the design principle of this article? Have you ever watched this?
Yeah, sure. I think we're talking about the principle and why it's designed like this, and the reason why the article is there. We're talking about this.
Yeah, and I think Kevin.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Mara. Sorry.
Yeah.
I think Kevin are replying like what should be done differently before.
Okay.
Martin, would you mind? I'm just in my car. Sorry.
Yeah. Okay.
Would you mind scrolling up to the beginning of the Constitution, please?
Yeah.
Okay. So I think that I think that the purpose of the article is good in that it's trying to explicitly set the jurisdiction of just to say it outright. But I want to go to what Darren said, which I thought was very good. The maxims of equity or laws of equity or any permutation of these ideas of freedoms and rights are probably fine. But my first question is, I haven't read them and I'm going to go read them. For those that are familiar with them, do you think that they can be distilled to such a small space that they could be themselves entered into the Constitution? So what I want to try to prevent is a lot of references to external documents, so that the Constitution can be a self-contained document, so that the jurisdiction can be itself and only itself. That's the first question. And the second question is, well, not a question, but a personal thought, that is it necessary at all? Because the ideas, to my understanding of how EOS was formed, is that it was a network of consenting, civilized people, and there is the consent of the Constitution, and then beyond that, there is any consent to a specific agreement between parties. So if we're trying to establish the jurisdiction and then also precedent, because I think that's what it's also saying is we need to establish an order of precedent. We do so first with the Constitution, and if the Constitution does not cover the specific aspect of a dispute, then the specific agreement between those parties is then where the jurisdiction lies. So to summarize, can the maxims of equity be literally inserted into the Constitution to avoid external references? And can can the jurisdiction of disputes or laws to govern the disputes go from constitution to then the agreement between parties and nothing else?
Okay. I will shortly summarize your point, and you can let me know whether or not I'm right. Okay. So the general purpose of the article you're fine with, because, and then you say it's basically defining the jurisdiction of EOS. You would suggest to not to distill the maxims of equity and basically put them into the Constitution itself. So we don't need to like have outside documents or refer to those. If this is still not sufficient, you would rather have a fallback in the actual agreement of the parties having the contract. Is this correct?
That is correct.
So you would say, like, let's be more independent from outside documents and be more accessible.
Yes, that, and then for where the Constitution is insufficient, the jurisdiction of law should, or not the jurisdiction, but the rules should fall to the agreement between parties, like a contract.
Okay.
If you and I have a contract and the Constitution doesn't cover our dispute in that contract, then go to the contract. So basically, like, as long as a contract between consenting parties does not violate the Constitution, then it is the document of authority.
Okay, understood.
Is a thought. I'm just proposing that idea.
Next would be Adam.
Yeah, I was going to just say, I think that that's a good idea to try and put it as much as possible within the Constitution, but I think if we do that, we're going to have to rewrite it, and we might lose some of the meaning, because based on just like glancing at the Wikipedia article, it uses a lot of terminology that we don't find defined in our current Constitution. So I think we would have to do some additional work to actually define what those things mean in our context. But I do agree that we should try and move everything that we can within there. It's just, I think, going to be a little bit more work than just, oh, hey, we'll copy and paste some things and put them in there.
Okay.
That might be a good piece of feedback for us to write down, is that we should have a section or something that supplies more robust definitions of terms, such as member.
Yeah, what you refer to like that, what would the maxims of equity mean in our context? Because like there's no member, there's no user, there's no smart contract, these kind of things.
Yeah, or the word, the word open source.
Okay.
They have to be defined. Just an example. These things will probably have to be defined.
Okay. So Adam, you basically agree, but what we just talked about is like that we would need to adjust the terminology of the maxims of equity. Correct?
Yep.
Hello?
Yep. So
I would say that if we start defining all of the terms, we could end up with a 20-page constitution that absolutely no one will read. It starts to get very lawyer-esque. Maybe rather than referring to external public documents, we have sort of external on-chain documents that can define all of these terms. Just the maxims of equity, you've got 20 basically maxims there, and to explain the terminology and vocabulary used in all of them is a 10-page document.
Sure.
And I worry that we would massively reduce the accessibility and understanding by putting in too many terms. I can easily imagine a 14-page constitution that absolutely no one would read.
Okay, so you would agree to the fact that we can pull over as much as possible, but still would use the maxims of equity as kind of a fallback thing.
I think it's a lovely set of principles for how you decide things which are otherwise undefined. But frankly, I don't think it adds much because we have arbitrators who will be making the decisions based on their RDR and their own sense of fairness and equity.
Okay, understood. All right, there are two more people in the chat. Let everybody be heard. And next one would be Catherine.
Okay. In my opinion, because I have read the Constitution, and if I need to summarize it, I think it can be divided in three types. One is consents, and the second is arbitration, and the third is for regulations. And because now about the Constitution, we have arguments because as I think that it can be very, very long because like James said that it's very hard to end up reading. But what I think that it's better to be more independent, to include and to avoid more disputes. So currently I agree, but it's better be more independent.
Okay. So similar to what Kevin suggested, you would like to have more things expressed in our Constitution, but you also see Jem's point that it should be still an accessible document that people can actually read.
Yes, that's it.
Okay.
What was the, hey Catherine, what was the first section that you mentioned? I couldn't hear you. You said split it into three parts.
Oh, sorry? Yeah. The three, because after reading all the articles, I think that it can be divided into three parts. The first part is, wait, let me take a look of my.
Sorry, I'm just looking at the notes.
Okay, yeah. The first part is consents.
Mm-hmm.
It's consents, and the second is arbitration, and the third is for regulations.
Mm-hmm.
Like regulations to all the block producers and the developers. That's what I think.
Okay. Guys, we have like 2 minutes left. Next, we have still Brian to talk. I want to assign a spokesperson already, though, if you're getting disconnected. Adam, since you're having the notes, would you be comfortable representing the group?
Yeah, that's fine. I did it last time too, so. Okay,
cool. Brian, go.
Yeah, so my question is the rules of dispute resolution. So what I think is that what about the EOS arbitration forum? What happens if the Constitution and the RDR say different things? Should this be also included in this article? And for the maxims of equity, I get that this article wants a safety net. So when the Constitution is not enough in certain situations, I think. And I'm not familiar with the maxims of equity, but it seems to be a good safety net. So
the RDR doesn't actually say what the law is. It just has the rules of how you follow it, like how you actually proceed to enforce any of the rules in the Constitution.
Okay. Yeah.
So they shouldn't disagree, is what I mean.
Okay. Yeah. So I think that but this is like a safety net. So what I'm interpreting is like the choice of law for disputes, and when the Constitution is not enough, then secondly the maximum of equity. That's how I understand the last part.
And do you agree with that? Like, is it, as you said, is it a good safety net for you?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there's 1 minute left. Kevin hasn't said anything so far, but he was in and out of the group. So Kevin, do you want to add something in the last minute?
No, I'm sure you guys covered it really well. You guys have the biggest group, only English group we have right now. The others are Chinese. So I'm sure you guys
sorry to interrupt. I know that we are about to end. So I want to very quickly say that in Article 3 for rights, a very important statement where it says grants the right of contract. But but that's very loosely described. So I think that something that's very important for the choice of law or jurisdiction is to also explicitly state, it is to give some power to that contract. So it's not just the Constitution, but then it's the contract between parties. I think it needs to be stated somewhere.
Okay, Adam, you got that?
Yes.
Adam?
Yep.
Okay. All right. So thank you everybody for joining this discussion.
Welcome back, guys. Take about a minute for everybody to come back in here, so we'll hang out.
Today the English group was super big.
Yeah, we didn't have quite enough people for 2 groups. I guess we could have done 2 groups, but I'm sure you guys were very thorough. Yeah, covered that one really well.
Today Chinese group was speaking English.
Oh, really?
Yes.
And we can, when we do the summaries, we'll wait for everybody else to come back in. We'll talk about it some more. Probably another 30 seconds or so for everybody to come in.
其实我是说很希望中文组的话发言的话，当然今天也有很多讲英文的朋友在，但是如果我们你觉得用中文发言更加的深刻一点，也可以用中文来发言，咱们有翻译在的。Okay. You're muted.
Sorry, guys. Just about everybody should be back by now. So we'll go ahead and do some summaries.
And you can quickly have the recording rights for the summary?
Oh, yeah. Well, let's see. I think you already have them. Let me check here.
Yeah, cool.
Okay,
all right.
Good. So what we'll do is each group, their summary can be in English or Chinese, and Catherine has kindly agreed to translate that back and forth. And Catherine, I'll let you translate that, please.
OK， 每个小组的话呢，最好都是把自己总结的告诉我，我可以，比如说，如果你们小组是中文的话，把那个中文的总结的可以告诉我，然后我翻译成英文的，然后我们这小组，比如说是英文讨论小组，我们总结出来的，我也会翻译成中文跟大家分享。
Okay, so we had group 1. I think it was Martin was the facilitator, so we'll go ahead. Group 1, you can take it away.
所以我们现在是第一小组。
And Martin, you are muted right now.
Yeah, that's Adam.
Adam.
Yep, that's me. Yeah, sorry, I was in full screen for a second there. Cool. So yeah, we had Article 10, and that was the article on the choice of law, essentially. And
okay, sorry, Adam. Can I translate first?
Oh, yep. Sorry. I'll go slow. Sorry, I apologize.
Okay, don't worry. So 我们这个第一小组讨论的是宪法的第10条，说的是法律的选择。在中文的翻译就是处理纠纷事项的法律选择的时候，按优先顺序排列，依次是 EOS 宪法，然后是衡平法原则。Okay, done.
The intent of the article, we believe, is to set the jurisdiction, which is the EOS Constitution or the EOS network, and make it very clear that it's not an outside terrestrial government, right?
我们刚开始有的小组成员在讨论的时候说，我们比较选择 EOS 是因为它是有监管的，并且是有宪法的，是让人够比较能够产生信任的。Okay.
The group generally thought that the maxims of equity are a good catch-all measure.
然后在这个衡平法原则的时候呢，是比较好的一个方式来跟随着 EOS 宪法来执行的。Okay.
There was much discussion around whether we should try to add the maxims of equity into the Constitution directly, either in the actual Constitution or whether it makes sense to have a separate on-chain article to prevent referencing outside articles that use different terminology and may have different translations or interpretations across the web.
我们有讨论过是否需要那个横平法原则，并且它是否是真的适合来 EOS 宪法的。Oh, sorry. The last part, can you repeat?
Yes. So there was discussion around whether or not the maxims of equity should be included directly within the Constitution, or if it made more sense to have a separate on-chain document that's referenced to the Constitution, so that there's no misinterpretation of what those are, and so that we continue to keep everything on-chain as the intent of the article kind of states.
所以我们就讨论了是否需要横平法原则，来跟随这个 EOS 宪法来执行，并且是直接执行现有的宪法，或者是说后来提出的宪法修改，并且是跟随这个横平法原则。Okay.
And one final point is that, and Kevin hop in if I interpreted this wrong, we want to put in whatever document that is, the right to make contracts between parties the final catch-all. So whatever that contract between the two parties is really going to be what essentially is the rules that are being governed if it's not covered in the Constitution.
Just to clarify one thing, thank you, Adam.
Yes.
Well, actually, you can translate first.
Okay. So now I need to translate, or you want to say first?
I can say it if that's okay. So Article 3 actually grants the right to create contracts, but we think it's, or I thought, and we didn't get enough feedback from the rest of the group, that it should also within jurisdiction say that if it's not within the Constitution, you should then look toward the contract between people to understand the law that governs themselves, as long as it does not conflict with the Constitution.
我们在讨论的时候也会考虑到在现实生活中是否会跟这个法律是有冲突的。比如说在第三条说到权利的时候，我们就会考虑到这一条。Continue, please.
All right, so group 1, I think that's all from you guys, looks like. And group 2, Dimitri, I think you were the facilitator. If we can keep it to about 2 to 3 minutes, we have another working group call coming up. I'm sure a lot of folks are trying to catch.
My group is choose me as a speaker, and Luna was facilitator for that. Thank you for them. I'm first time the speaker. I will type here. You can see the Article 11 is about amending. This Constitution and its subordinate documents shall not be amended except by vote of the tokens holders with no less than 15% vote participation among the tokens and not further than 10% more yes than no votes, sustained for 30 continuous days within 120 days period.
Okay, sorry, Dimitri. Okay, first I have to translate. 所以房间2的话选择的是 Dimitri 作为主讲人，然后他们的主持人是 Luna， 他们的主要的讨论的是宪法的第12条是修改，本宪法及其附属文件不得修改，除非有超过15%的 token 的持有者，并且在150天内持有超过连续30天投票率不低于10%的。这是宪法内容。Okay, continue, please.
So this article was made on the purpose of avoiding manipulating of the market of the votes. So in such case, we can see.
Sorry. 所以这条宪法主要的制定目的是为了避免有大户去操纵这个投票。Okay.
So we can see that vote participation should be more than 15%. Then the votes will be valued as validated, and then the voting have in place. And then the 10% yes or no is for that reason that for example, if there will be some whale who would like to affect the market, affect the kind of some decisions, it will be hard for them. So we will negotiate. We was negotiating that thing, that it will be hard for this kind of person to affect this, because there should be decision, agree or disagree in 10%.
OK， 非常感谢群里面的那个EMAX 帮我的补充。说国际惯例，它罐头的话一般是有50%的投票参与率。如果说我们的15%的话，是很容易被操纵的。特别是说，如果我们说在10%，是或者是不是的情况下，都是容易被大户操纵的。
And the continuous period for 30 days during 120 days. It's made for the same reason, so it's more stable voting process. We can see more clear votes, so people won't change their mind for the long period of time. They need to be more stable in their decisions.
OK， 并且在120天之内呢，需要连续30天的持续投票才可以。这也是让人们在一个比较稳定的状态下，然后在一个更加稳定、更加透明的状态下来进行投票的。
Okay. I think that's all. Thank you.
All right.
这是 OK.
So thanks, guys. And I'll go ahead to Group 3. Dakyang, was that you? You might be on mute right now, Dakyang.
Sorry, yeah, it was me. I think Yibing was the spokesman here.
And you're welcome to speak in Mandarin or in English, and Catherine will translate.
Yibing, 你要开始吗？
OK。是你们这组是你吗？
我们这组是刚才选的是Yibing是发言人。Yibing，你要开始吗？不好意思，那就我来很快的说一下吧。Yibing，你来，你说。行，那我就很快的总结一下吧。刚才Yibing也是在聊天群里打出了这个我们大家的总结。首先呢，我们当中的一些成员认为关于在这个第12条宪法里面关于对成员的定义似乎有些问题。那么这个成员到底是指的是持币者，或者是21个节点以及备选的节点，这是第一个问题。那么第二个问题呢是
我翻译还是你？
不好意思，你说。
Okay, so we have in other room we have talked about the publishing, and we have a question, we have a doubt about what means member. It's token holders, block producers, or standby block producers. Go on.
Right, thanks. So I'll go ahead and try to summarize in English. And the second question we were talking about, it was how to define the right, because a lot of us were thinking that it is very confusing to define rights here, and the article isn't really clarified on that particular instance. And the third question we were talking about is that publishing those informations, we thought because the feature of blockchain, the published information would not be able to changed, and we would just like to confirm if any information published here under this article would be able to change. And fourth one was that how do we define, or how do we select 第四条我用中文说，不好意思。第四个问题我们讨论的是如何确定管理员。我在这里不确定管理员的英文是什么，能不能帮我一下？
So it means.
Okay, so the fourth question we're talking about is how to select admins, and how do we trust them? And the last one is that if there is a 第五条我们的问题是发布的内容是否有审核的机制？我不太确定审核机制应该怎么翻译。你可以直接说。
Okay, is there a censorship for publishing the articles or the information?
Okay, great. So that's all we have. Thanks.
那你把中文也说一下吧，你说了这么多的问题。
行，我们最后一个问题就是内容在区块链上发布的内容是否有审核的机制，这是一个主要的问题。谢谢大家，谢谢一斌。
All right, thanks guys. We have 2 more groups to summarize, and then we'll wrap up. Probably about 5 minutes or so. At 14:05, we'll finish up. I told Amy, who was running the other call, that some of you guys may be a little bit late, or you're welcome to jump over there now if you wish. I put the Zoom link for that call in the chat. But go ahead, group number 4. Who was the facilitator for group 4?
Me. Like, we are the team readers, and we were talking about the Constitution 13, I believe, the informed consent. And our speaker will be Mike. Mike, please.
Hello, 现在我可以说吗？能听到吗？能听到我的发言吗？
可以，你说。
OK， 我们组的话主要讨论了2个问题，第一个就是关于服务商没有公开李嘉图合约要承担责任的这个问题。然后，那这一点的设计的核心信念和它的设计原则，我们认为应该是保护持币人的财产安全，这个是第一点。第二的一个保障整个主网的一个安全稳定。然后在这个基础上的话，我们认为我们组大部分人都认为是有必要引入这个第三方的审计。那在这一点上，我们对于我们组产生了一点的分歧，需要翻译吗？
Okay, so they have 2 questions. The first one is that about the disclosure, the regarding contract, if they need to take the responsibility if they don't disclose the regarding contract. And the second is for protecting the mainnet security. They think that to have third-party auditing is necessary. Am I clear?
OK， 在关于引入第三方审计的问题上，我们组有2个观点。一部分人认为我们应该把这个审计的这个权限交给第三方的机构，然后去做审计。那有一部分人認為第三方審計機構的話很難保證它的去中心化。
Okay, so about the third-party auditing, so they think that they have 2 opinions. One part of them, they think that it is necessary to have a third-party auditing, but the other part thinks that if they choose a third-party auditing, it is not decentralized.
OK， 所以说关于这个引入第三方审计的这个问题，我们想交给社区，然后来大家在后面可以继续来去讨论这个问题。
Okay, so referring to third-party auditing, they want us to talk in the community and hope the community can decide this. Okay.
Good. All right. Go ahead. Is that all from group 4?
Yes.
Okay. All right, group 5, the last group.
最后一组，第5组。
All right, so this is Shenwang. Can everyone hear me?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, so basically this is the group of, our name is the group of Privity, and I'm the facilitator, and also I will present on behalf of the group of Privity. OK， 所以说大家好，那我们就是说那个现在来讨论宪法第14条叫 severability。OK， we actually have 3 points to make. First of all is we agree that this clause, the concept of this clause is acceptable and is helpful for the Constitution. It's basically saying that if any clause of this Constitution is valid or is invalid or unenforceable, it doesn't impact the rest of the Constitution. And but we make some changes of the language to make it more formal and more legal. And this is the changes we want to make. 就是说，我们现在想做的一点，就是说，让这个宪法的语言呢，更加的规范一些。然后呢，其实这个想法是很好的。就是如果其中的一条条款不合法或者是不合理的话呢，它不会影响宪法剩下条款的合理性和合法性。好，那么我们现在做了一些修改， So the changes we make is that, first of all, if any part of this constitution, this word part is not good. This is not a legal word. So we change the word part to clause. If any clause of this constitution is declared, usually we don't use declare this word for any legal document. So, and we add one word called illegal, because this only covers invalidity and unenforceability. There is another important concept called illegality. So the one that we reform, or the new versions, that reads like this: if any clause of this constitution is illegal, invalid, or unenforceable under any present or future law, the remainder will continue to be legal, valid, and enforceable. 那中文我说一下，就是说这个什么意思呢？就是如果其中宪法的任何一个条款，我们加了一个词叫做不合法性，或者是不可执行性，还有不合理性啊，这是它的3个。那么剩下的这些条款呢，可以继续保持它的合法性、合理性和可执行性。Alright, so this is the first point we want to make. The second point we want to make is that actually we think the position of the Article 14 is not correct. So severability is, as we all know, this is a very standard clause in any commercial contract. It shouldn't sit in the middle of the Constitution. It should sit at the end of the Constitution. Because if it is sitting in the current position in the middle of the Constitution, it appears very weird. 第二条我们想说的一点就是说，这个第14条呢，它的这个位置呢，就是在整个宪法中的位置不是太合理，它放在宪法的中间。其实任何的商业条款呢，一般把这种所谓的这种标准性条款呢放到它的最后，所以我们建议其实把这个第14条的位置呢跟其他的条款做一定互换，然后不应该放在这个整个宪法的中间。Alright, the third point we want to make is actually not related to Article 14 because we have some spare time after discussing Article 14. And the one that we want to discuss is actually Article 19. It's called counterparts. 我们现在就是说第14条我们已经讨论完了，第19条我们其实刚才有点多余的时间，我们想说的第19条这个 counterparts 整个这一条应该被删除。Why the Article 19 should be deleted from the entire Constitution? Because we think this is redundant and also it doesn't make any sense. Counterparts, this is another standard clause for any commercial contracts, but it doesn't apply, in our opinion, to the Constitution. The reason is this Constitution is not going to be executed by multi-parties. It's actually a Constitution. Constitution is not, how to say, it's not a legal instrument to be executed by any party. It is a governance instrument for the entire EOS community. 所以说为什么我们就说这个第19条会要被删掉呢？是因为第19条强调的是，它是一个标准的商业合同的一个标准用语。它说的是，任何一个商业合同都可以被多方通过不同的副本进行执行。但这个时候呢，宪法不应该是有这样的特点，宪法不应该是说由多方执行，因为宪法它不是一个执行的商业合同，宪法是一个治理准则，这个治理准则的话呢，不存在第19条所包含的范围。Alright, so that's the last point the group of Privity wants to make. Thank you.
Great deal. Thank you very much, Jen. Yeah, thank you for that. Thank you, everybody. That is all for this time. As always, we are welcoming feedback and one thing that could be done better next time. If you guys would like to stick around for 45 seconds and type that in the chat, please. Let me pull up the slide so you can read that. So next week, and we're going to finish up within the next minute or so you can get to the next call. But next week, we'll begin comparing version 1 of the Constitution that we've talked about with Daniel Larimer's version 2 proposal. Compare and contrast and see what's similar and what needs to be changed and what's different. And Catherine, I'll let you translate that.
OK， 所以为了更好的提高下一次的那个讨论的过程和时间，我们现在在那个聊天室那块给大家45秒钟的时间去写一下，有什么可以更好的去改进的。OK。
You're muted, Kevin.
Sorry, guys, I was on mute. But with that in mind, go ahead. What is one thing to make this process better for next week? Feel free to type it in the chat. If you don't get it in, you can always send me a private message on Telegram, or also send Myra a message on WeChat.
OK， 如果大家没有在这里面 ，OK， Myra。
Also, thank you for Catherine translation. You did an excellent job.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah, thank you everybody for coming in. Thank you very much, Catherine, of course, and Shen and Adam and Dimitri, all the regulars. I'm going to post the link to the next call, and you guys can join that call. You'll see it right now as a Zoom link there. Thank you, guys. We'll see you next call or next week as well. So,
okay.
Bye.
Bye.